Hello everyone, I'm Courtney Green.
And I'm Cal Woods. Over the next half hour, you will learn how one simple decision you make can save or enhance the lives of so many others. We're talking about the decision to become an organ and tissue donor.
It's an issue you think may never affect you. That's what each of the people you will meet also thought. People like Diamond Ott, a teenager alive today, thanks to a boy she never even had the chance to meet.
It's not that unusual when everything is beautiful.
I'm very involved in dance and it's like my passion. I like to do it. It helps like release feelings and stuff.
It's just another ordinary miracle today.
Diamond started dancing when she was 5, but the joy it brought her was always accompanied by exhaustion.
I was tired and ran down and never had any energy and slept a lot.
It was a year later, at age 6, when doctors figured out what was wrong.
I needed a transplant because I was born with a bad liver. And then after going through the testing for the liver, they realized that my kidney was bad too. Hi, my name's Diamond Ott and I'm a liver kidney recipient.
Today, Diamond is a normal high school student who owes her life to a boy she has never met and never will.
My donor was an 11-year-old boy named Jacob Goebel. He was killed on his way home from school. He got hit by a car riding his bike home. This is Jacob, my donor, and it was taken about 3 weeks before he got killed. And then this is me, that in this picture was taken about 3 weeks before I had my transplant.
In a matter of hours after Jacob died, Diamond and her family were driving to a medical center in Nebraska. There, she would undergo surgery to have Jacob's liver and a kidney transplanted into her body. The surgery was a success, and after 3 months recovering in Omaha, she finally returned home to Iowa, to her new life.
Before, I never knew what it was like to feel healthy, so I never knew how bad I really felt, where now that I feel great and healthy, I know now how bad I really felt and how sick I was getting. Now I can hang out with friends, go to school, do extracurricular activities. I give thanks to Jacob every day.
A year after the transplant, Diamond decided to write a letter to Jacob's family to help them understand how their decision affected a girl in Iowa they had never met.
To my donor family, my name is Diamond and I'm 14 years old. On September 21st, 2006, I was given the greatest gift ever, my second chance at life. That choice was made possible because of the choice and the gift that your family made. The doctors keep telling me that my new organs love my body and they're doing awesome. The hospital told me that I can't give you my last name or too much information about me, and that if you want to know more about me, you would have to respond back to this letter and they would put us in touch with each other. I'm hoping you will. I would like to know everything about the person that was born with the liver and kidney that I now live with. I'm grateful and give thanks every day to my donor family for my gift of life. But I've also learned through my experience life is a gift. With love, Diamond. We met all of his cousins, his aunts, his uncles, his grandparents, and that was real fun, a real great family. They also told us that 3 weeks before he got hit, that Jacob was watching a show, Heroes, and he told his dad that he wanted to be someone's hero, and his dad told him that he was his hero. Well, Jacob said he wanted to be someone's hero though, and so now he's my hero because he saved my life.
Diamond is now a senior in high school and preparing for prom, all thanks to her donor, Jacob.
As the Ott family learned, if you are waiting on an organ donor, you are literally waiting for a phone call at a moment's notice, which will require you to be packed and ready for surgery. That is where Iowa Donor Network comes in, a team of dedicated professionals charged with the duty of ensuring a life-saving transplant happens at literally a moment's notice. Mark Tauschik explains.
Peter Coldrake met, fell in love with, and married the love of his life.
My wife is one of the most amazing, if not the most amazing person that I've met.
They had 2 sons, lived a very active and rewarding life together. And looking back today, Peter realizes how lucky he was.
She didn't know a stranger, and she could had the unique ability to make people laugh and see the fun side of things.
Peter's also lucky because he and his wife Karen had the foresight early in their relationship to prepare each other for the unthinkable.
My wife and I had talked about becoming donors, and we had done that. And then, it's a situation that everybody hopes they never find themselves in.
Peter did find himself in that situation. He'll never forget his wife's voice when she called from the grocery store. Karen told Peter she wasn't feeling well and asked if he could come pick her up and drive her home.
She was unconscious when we got there and had passed away from a severe brain aneurysm.
As quickly as his wife had left him, a new lifelong relationship began just a few hours later when he and his sons were approached in the hospital by a member of the Iowa Donor Network.
So as soon as you walk in that room, you're going to feel the anger, you're going to feel the hurt, the sorrow, the grief that those families are feeling.
Kate Bowersox has come face to face with hundreds of people grieving the loss of a loved one, always in a matter of hours after the death.
It's amazing to talk to these families, these donor families, and tell somebody, someone's in the hospital waiting right now. You're going to be able to save that person's life, and they're going to get that transplant very quickly. Our main goal here at Iowa Donor Network is try to get everybody in Iowa off the waiting list.
In Iowa, there are approximately 600 people on the organ waiting list.
Nationwide, over 110,000. And again, nationally, looking at the data that we see, unfortunately, every 12 minutes somebody passes away waiting for an organ transplant.
When a heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, or other organs become available due to a death, organ donation coordinators from Iowa Donor Network have to act quickly.
We utilize all ICU staff, physicians, pretty much everybody in the hospital to make sure that this donation does take place. We use our own personal jet service, and we also use ambulances to pick up teams from the airport and take them to the hospital as fast as possible.
Thanks to Iowa Donor Network's fast action, Karen Coldrake's organs helped save the lives of multiple people on the organ waiting lists. Peter regularly talks to one of them.
Now he has the ability to help his wife. He can go out and shovel the snow, he can go on walks, he can go on vacations, and he could never have done anything like that unless he'd received Karen's lungs.
Iowa Donor Network oversees the entire donation process, from initial contact with the donor's family to the organ transport to the operating rooms of several Iowa hospitals, including the University of Iowa Transplant Center. Dr. Alan Reed has worked with the Iowa Donor Network and has seen the importance of their work firsthand in the eyes of his patients.
People waiting for livers and hearts and lungs are facing almost certain death without transplantation. So imagine being told that, in the middle of the night, that here's your chance at a new life. It's hard to put into words.
Besides coordinating transplants, Iowa Donor Network is also on a mission to educate the public about the importance of being an organ or tissue donor.
Ultimately, if everybody decided to be a donor, I think our waiting list would be minimized. And I think at some point in the future, there won't be a waiting list.
And the importance of having the conversation with your loved ones so there's no hesitation, wondering what to do if the unthinkable does happen.
There's an opportunity to make a difference. There's an opportunity to prepare yourself and your family in the unfortunate circumstance that you may find yourself in.
According to the Iowa Donor Network, 1.3 million of Iowa's 2 million drivers are registered organ donors.
Still ahead.
She walked in the house, she held up her driver's license, and she said, "Look, Mom, I'm going to be an organ donor." And all I could say was, "That's great. That's great, honey. I'm so proud of you."
A mother's worst nightmare is realized, but her daughter's thoughtful decision saves the lives of others. We'll be right back.
IDN is extremely important for us because they go around in the state of Iowa and talk to families about organ donation. They educate the community about the importance of organ donation, and then they coordinate, once a donor is available, the entire process that involves various teams. And without IDN support, this extremely well-coordinated organ donation would not be possible for us. I think the best way to support Iowa Donor Network is to make sure that you register in the donor registry. If you can support them financially, that would be great.
The Transplant Center at Iowa Methodist Medical Center and Blank Children's Hospital, dedicated to patients and families through all phases of the complex and challenging transplant process. At the Transplant Center at Iowa Methodist Medical Center, our team of dedicated surgeons and clinical professionals have performed adult and pediatric kidney transplants on more than 400 patients. The compassion of donors, the dedication of Methodist Medical Center, saving lives together. To learn more, visit iowahealth.org.
Welcome back. She was an energetic teenager full of life.
And full of compassion. Thanks to a decision Erica Schwager made, a tragic accident turned out to be a life-saving act of heroism. Betty Schwager tells us the story of her daughter, Erica.
My name is Betty Schwager, and this is my story. I want to tell you a story about my daughter. Her name is Erica Desiree Schwager. She was a junior at Des Moines Christian School. She was real, involved with different activities at school. She was in drama, she was in speech, she played volleyball, she was a competition squad cheerleader. Erica was the type of girl that when she walked into the room, she just lit up the room. She was just so energetic and so happy that she drew people to her. She walked in the house, she held up her driver's license, and she said, "Look, Mom, I'm going to be an organ donor." And all I could say was, "That's great. That's great, honey. I'm so proud of you." Obviously, at that point in time, we never thought that anything would ever happen to Erica. And as Erica was coming up on the intersection, there was a car to her left, I believe, that obstructed her vision. She had a green light. She wasn't speeding. She wasn't on her cell phone. She entered that intersection, and the car to her left stopped before that other car got to the intersection. So the time her left front quarter panel hit the bumper of a fire truck, the moment that the collision happened, it was said that that's when they called the fire trucks and said that it was a false alarm. Erica was in the hospital for a week. Her brainstem herniated. Her father and I had to choose whether or not we would want to donate her organs. And because Erica talked to us about that in advance, we went ahead and we did. So they were able to find 4 immediate organ recipients. When we took her off of life support, 4 other lives were immediately sustained. I have corresponded with letters to all of her recipients. It's good to know their story. The man that received her kidney is a little bit older than I am. His 3 children wrote me letters, and they just thanked me so that they could have their dad back as a result of the choice that we made. A woman who was receiving insulin injections, she told me 13 times a day. And after she received Erica's pancreas, she's not had to have any more shots. Those are the cool stories. Those are the cool stories, and that's what Erica would want. That's the type of giving person that Erica was. She can't be here with us, but she does live on in the lives of these others that are able to live as a result of her choice. I think it's real important that when these kids are making these decisions for organ donation, that they talk about it with their parents, because when you don't, and your parents are faced with a decision, a life or death decision, as a parent, I'm not sure that unless you talk to them about it, that they're going to choose organ donation in the event that you can't make that choice. Erica has made me proud in so many ways throughout the course of her life. But to see how all of this has unfolded makes me extremely proud and honored to know that my daughter would just make this choice on her own without, I didn't tell her to go select this when she went to go get her driver's license. Nobody told her. She made this choice on her own. So I'm extremely proud. She's touched many people's lives in her life while she was alive, and also she's touched many people's lives in her death.